we can't say it was a surprise because we knew something was coming, but basically we learned is that everything that's going to be produced in Picard at Sainte-Thérèse, the only thing that's going to be there left is going to be the production that is sold either in Quebec or in Canada, in the rest of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But everything that's going south of the border will now be made in the other Paccar plants that they have in the U.S. In terms of numbers, we're going from a production of 46 trucks a day to 18. And just to give you an idea, a year and a half ago, Paccar in Sainte-Thérèse was producing nearly 92 trucks a day. So now we're down to 18.
18 a day from 92 a year ago. So that is the bad news today out of Sainte-Thérèse, where Paccar let employees know 300 of them are going to be laid off. The question, I guess, part of the question here has to be, what does this mean for the future of Paccar in general? But Paccar, beyond diesel, also makes some electric vehicles as well. Is that a saving grace here? Let's try to find out. On the line with Danielle Breton, President, CEO for Electric Mobility Canada. Danielle, thanks for being here this afternoon. Look, it's obviously never good news when you hear that yet again Paccar is laying off people. Are we worried for the future of this company?
Yeah, to be honest, I am. I mean, they've been doing layoffs for a while now. All of that because of the tariffs, because they're due to come into effect November 1st. So this relationship that we thought would never sour with the U.S. is souring in real time. You've seen what happened with GM and Stellantis the past few days. And I wouldn't be surprised if there would be more bad news on the automotive front. So the thing is that Paccar has been around for decades in the U.S. The Quebec government supported Paccar when they decided to make trucks in Quebec, if you remember, back in the 1990s. So we have to make sure that we understand first that we cannot trust the U.S. as a reliable partner anymore. We have to find new markets, and we have to be agile. Paccar is starting to talk about producing electric trucks in Canada for the Canadian market. I would like to hear the Canadian government and the Quebec government saying that, we used to want to be nice, reliable, polite partners with the U.S. and not have those made in Canada or made in Quebec policies that the U.S. have had for a long time. But I think now is the time for us to have our own made in Canada and made in Quebec policies so that when we do RFPs, we buy first and foremost Canadian products, Canadian trucks, Canadian cars, boats and whatnot, because if they don't respect that part of the deal, I don't see why we should feel obliged to respect those free trade agreements that they're denying themselves. I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of people are feeling like that right now.
I will point out, to this idea about buying our own, it's been talked about since the first tariffs were actually introduced. But we found out today in this announcement of Paccar that, the Quebec government is buying trucks for the SAQ and Hydro-Quebec, not from Paccar here, buying them from the U.S. So kind of shooting ourselves in the foot here to begin with. Exactly.
I absolutely agree with you, and that's why I think I had a conversation yesterday with Transport Minister Jonathan Julien about this very situation, and I said we have to start buying more Canadian and Quebec products. And Doug Ford has been saying this in Ontario, and Mark Carney has been saying this, but now it's time to go beyond words and put that into action. I think that there's no other way. And there's an opportunity there because since Paccar wants to start making electric trucks in Canada, in Quebec in particular, there's a program called Éco-Camionnage, which has been on hold for 13 months now. And yesterday when I spoke to the government, I said, guys, you're supposed to relaunch this program, which is a subsidy for the purchase of electric, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. I said the timing would be perfect for the government to announce some good news for Paccar because they're not asking for manufacturing subsidies, but what they're asking for is support for people who want to buy electric trucks So not only is it good for the transition to cleaner vehicles, but also it's going to be good for jobs in Quebec at PACCAR.
One question I have, Danielle, is, here we are again finding ourselves in a spot, I say we, Quebecers, businesses here, being reactive instead of having been proactive. This news on heavy and medium-sized vehicles, this didn't happen today. This has been telegraphed now for a while, yet here we are dealing with this today, trying to figure out what we're going to do next.
I absolutely agree with you. I think that we have to be a lot more proactive than reactive, like we have been in the past. And between us, I've been having discussions with governments about this. I could even tell you a story about electric ferries that are, right now, the Quebec government announced that they would buy electric ferries. And I've been talking for 2-3 years now with the Quebec and the federal government about the fact that these ferries could be built here in Canada. And last week, I was speaking to the folks from the Société des Traversiers du Québec, the Quebec Ferry Association, and they told me point blank, during a public consultation, that it was not part of their prerogative at all. And I said, I can't believe that here we are in 2025, still not taking this into consideration after all. This is public funding for those ferries. We should buy them if they are made in Quebec or in Canada, because we can do them. There's no reason why we should just go with the lowest bidder and get a ferry made in China, like BC Ferries has done a few months ago, and former Transport Minister Freeland was furious about that. So it doesn't seem that we're learning. So we have to learn, and quickly.
By the way, we keep talking about Quebec. Does this industry exist in other provinces across the country? Obviously, in Ontario, automotive sort of center of the country.
Yeah.
Are there people building EVs or building them for industrial use in this country?
Yes, there are in Saskatchewan, actually, Manitoba, Ontario, obviously, and parts and components in Quebec. So yes, you might not know about this, but as of now, according to an EY report that was published a few weeks ago, there are now 130,000 Canadians working in the EV industry, from mining to assembly to refining to infrastructure, electricity production, R&D. So this is a growing industry. Even if Donald Trump is trying everything he can to scrap the EV transition, it's happening. It should be at about 360 to 600,000 jobs by 2035 across Canada. So keep in mind that, I would say legacy auto industry has been very much focused in Ontario for the past decades, but the EV industry is a lot more spread out, whether it's for mining and components and parts and infrastructure. So this is a new industry that's up and coming, and I'm speaking to the federal government on a regular basis about this. And I can't wait to see what's going to be in the budget.
Yeah, it's funny. That was going to be my next question with respect to what the federal government is going to do in terms of initiatives, in terms of actually saying, hey, we have to do this, and here's what we're going to do to spur this kind of development.
Yeah, and we have to be so much less dependent on the U.S. than we have been in the past. Yeah. We actually put ourselves in a very difficult spot because of that. It was the easy way, but now we have to work with other partners. And I think Prime Minister Carney understands that. But I would say, like we say in French, c'est minuit moins 5. It's 5 to midnight. So time for us to wake up and get deals done with other countries, other jurisdictions, and work between provinces in Canada. Remember last year, working together between provinces, not pitting one province against the other like we have seen in the past few weeks, canola against electric cars from China. Yeah. We have to work together on this as one economy, because otherwise we'll be losing all of us.
Ominous last words, but yeah, that's the situation we face. That's the reality. Danielle, I really appreciate your time today. Thanks so much.
My pleasure.
The newest tracks. Let's go. New music. And the next big thing.
Always on the new music first.
Your first place to hear it all.
'Cause you gon' like it, love it, wanna play it twice. Playing now.
iHeart New Music. Your digital station for brand new drops, fresh finds, and tomorrow's bangers.
I think we need something new.
Discover iHeart New Music. Always fresh, always first. Stream now on the free iHeartRadio app.